So the name of the cycle is Cori cycle. Why you perform Cori cycle is to convert lactate into glucose, basically to make sure that glycogen is present and it is being converted into glucose that can be used by muscles. I'll explain how it goes. Right. So let's suppose this is a muscle fiber, right? Skeletal muscle fiber, can be other muscle as well. I'll just put it as muscle. Muscle fiber. All right. And this is your liver. All right. Now what happens in Cori cycle is we start off with glycogen, all right, or let's start off with glucose. Easier. All right. Glucose, whenever required by your body's tissue, you know, glucose is a source of energy. Glucose is a source of energy which will in turn be converted into ATP, which will be the main energy. But glucose is required for energy. So whenever there is a requirement in any muscle or any part of the body, specifically here we are talking about muscle because of a particular end product that we'll be discussing called lactate. But let's suppose this muscle requires glucose for normal functioning now. Liver will send this glucose through your bloodstream. So one second. From here you will have glucose transferring here, so let me write it down here. So it is being transferred through your bloodstream. All right, glucose goes all the way up to your muscle, and you have glucose molecule here. All right, so you have basically transferred glucose from your liver to your muscle. Now what happens is glucose will be converted into glucose 6 phosphate in your muscle before it can be used. Basically it is initially undergoing glycolysis. That is how you're getting glucose 6 phosphate. Okay, glucose 6 phosphate. All right, now this glucose 6 phosphate is interchangeable, or it can be sometimes in the sense that if you are getting glycogen also, you can convert it into glucose. I'll get to that in a bit, but for now just remember glucose is being converted into glucose 6 phosphate, which eventually, you know, as it goes through your glycolysis will be converted into pyruvate. Now, where Cori cycle comes into picture is what happens whenever your muscle is using glucose for glycolysis, or whenever glucose is using glucose to make energy and forming the end product, which is pyruvate. Now, you know, if in the end of glycolysis, you get 2 molecules of pyruvate and a couple of ATP, right? 8 ATPs in total. That is the energy currency of your body. So that energy is being used by your muscle. Now what ends up happening is this pyruvate will not stay as pyruvate in your what do you call muscle. It will immediately get reduced very quickly. All right, so that is a problem. It will become lactate. You know, lactate cannot be used by your muscle obviously, and if there is a lot of lactate being built up in your body, you will have a lot of burning sensation. So this lactate in turn will be sent to your liver to be converted into glucose. All right, this is another way through which you are basically performing gluconeogenesis. All right, you are making pyruvate from lactate, but how you do that is by sending it to your liver. Your liver will be able to do that. I'll repeat once again just in case people did not understand. Whenever, let's suppose, there is a muscle fiber which needs energy, it will ask that energy in the form of glucose, which is sent by your liver. Liver generally stores glucose as glycogen. Several units of glucose will be stored as glycogen. All right, so let me write it down here. Glucose will be stored as glycogen. So these are interchangeable. All right, we'll go through the cycle of gluconeogenesis and all as well, but glycogenesis, sorry. So glycogen is generally stored in your liver. Whenever there is a requirement for glucose, glycogen will be converted into glucose, which is sent to your muscle. that muscle will perform glycolysis. So this is basically glycolysis, where you are converting glucose all the way up to pyruvate. All right. Now, when this glucose molecule is used up and it is converted to pyruvate, it will give away NADH molecules and it will give away a few ATP molecules as well. It ultimately giving you energy. Now, the problem is in your muscle, this does not stop. Lactate will be produced, especially in an active skeletal muscle. Pyruvate will be converted into lactate. Now, lactate cannot be used back in the form of glucose. Now, if you remember, when we studied gluconeogenesis in the last class, making new glucose from pyruvate molecules, I told you it is almost the exact opposite of glycolysis, with one additional step where you have oxaloacetate formation in the second step. But I cannot make glucose from lactate. That is why I have to convert lactate into pyruvate before I can continue with the formation of new glucose. So what is happening in your muscle is this pyruvate, this is an additional step that happens in your muscle. Okay, let me put it in a different color. Okay, pyruvate will end up being converted into lactate. Lactate is a lactate, right? So lactate is an unusable form. It cannot be converted into glucose. All right. Now I have a good chance where I can convert lactate in, where I can convert pyruvate into glucose through gluconeogenesis. But if it is already in the form of lactate, I cannot do much. In that scenario, what your body will do is it will send this lactate, or your muscle will do is it will send this lactate to your liver. So what happens is, in case you are curious, here you have how pyruvate becomes into lactate is something called lactate dehydrogenase enzyme, LDH. You have, so you have an NADH, H plus, H plus molecule. Let me, yeah. So you have a NADH plus H plus molecule that is being converted into NAD plus molecule. Right? Basically, you're reducing the molecule of pyruvate to give a lactate. That is how you get LDH is lactate dehydrogenase. I'll just write it down here. LDH is lactate dehydrogenase. All right. Now, whenever glucose was required by your muscle, liver provided that glucose. But there will be a point where glycogen reserves will get depleted, and you will need to make more glucose. That is one of the reasons why you eat, and that is one of the reasons why pyruvate will be converted into glucose, right? Whatever excessive amount of pyruvate is present, that will be converted into glucose so that it can be used later. That conversion is done by gluconeogenesis, right? In the last class we discussed what is gluconeogenesis, but what is happening in in your muscle fiber is that pyruvate is being converted into lactate because it is being reduced. Now this cannot be used. All right, you need to reconvert it. This is a dead end of glycolysis. You especially anaerobic glycolysis can way you get lactate. So to convert it back into glucose, you'll have to send it to liver. So that is what your muscle will do. From here lactate is sent. All right, so again you get your bloodstream. So this is in your bloodstream. All right, right, this lactate is sent through your bloodstream to your liver. Here, let me write lactate again here just in case. All right, so this lactate in your liver will be converted into pyruvate. Okay, your liver has the capability of converting lactate into pyruvate. Your muscle does not. All right, it will basically oxidize the molecule of uh, lactate again using LDH, but in any case, it will convert lactate into pyruvate, which in turn will undergo gluconeogenesis. And let me draw several arrows here. So this represents gluconeogenesis basically. All right, so gluconeogenesis, let's put it as this fellow. Okay, so once your pyruvate undergoes gluconeogenesis, you will end up with glucose 6 phosphate. All right, this glucose, sorry, you will end up with glucose. If there is a lot of amount of glucose, that glucose will be stored, it will be converted, it will be basically, excuse me, it will be branched together and it will be converted into glycogen and stored for future use if it is required. Whenever it is required, glycogen will be converted back into glucose, and it is sent to the required area. Let's suppose it is a muscle, that glucose will be sent to a muscle, or if it is a tissue, it will be sent to a tissue. All right, this is basically Cori's cycle. All right, fairly simple, not really that complicated. यहाँ पर glucose भेज रहा, यहाँ पर lactate भेज रहा. Okay, so you have glucose being sent here. Okay, yeah, you have glucose being sent here and you have lactate being sent here. Be careful of that. Okay, I hope you understood what is Cori's cycle. See, I'll repeat just in case if someone did not understand. Whenever a muscle requires energy, all right, to perform any particular function, it will get that energy through glucose. All right, now generally in your bloodstream there is glucose, what do you call, roaming around. Whatever blood glucose is present, that will be absorbed into your muscle, and that is converted into pyruvate using glycolysis, giving you energy, right, ATP. Now this pyruvate does not stop as is in your muscle. The end product of glycolysis sometimes will be lactate, especially in the condition of anaerobic respiration, right? At one point, if you're not getting enough amount of oxygen, or in any case, lactate will be formed from your pyruvate. What ends up happening is you cannot convert lactate into glucose. Now if lactate builds up, I cannot convert it into glucose. If pyruvate builds up, I can send it to your liver so that gluconeogenesis can occur and glucose is formed. But lactate cannot be done the same. So what I will do is, or what your muscle fibers will do is, they will send lactate back to your liver through your blood. Right, in your liver, they will undergo oxidation where they are losing a bunch of hydrogens and they are converted into pyruvate. Pyruvate will undergo gluconeogenesis to form glucose. If there is, whenever there is requirement, this glucose will go into your bloodstream. Basically, whenever the amount of glucose in your bloodstream drops, that is when this glucose will come into picture. Okay, whenever blood glucose level is normal, this glucose will not be released into your blood and it will be kept in the form of glycogen, right? Normally glucose is stored in the form of glycogen in your liver. This is Cori's cycle. All right, this will generally come for a short answer, but fairly simple, it's not that hard. All right, do you guys have any doubts Cori's cycle mein? No doubts. All right, then we'll end the class here. Glycogenolysis and glycogenesis next class में करेंगे because they are fairly bigger. Again next class में वो branch in हो जाता. ठीक है, चलो.